Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jared here with another movie review. Just going crazy with the movie reviews lately. I don't know what's gotten into me, but I'm having fun doing them, and I just wanted to give you my thoughts on another movie I saw. So, to keep along with the Jackass theme, I've been watching a lot of Jackass lately. Huge fan of the series when I was younger, and just going back and watching some of these old movies has been a lot of fun. I decided tonight, since I watched Jackass 3D once again a few days ago, I was like, if I might as well just watch Jackass 3.5 also. Haven't seen that one in years. And when I think of Jackass 3.5, I can't think of before watching it tonight, I couldn't think of a singular thing about it. I know there would definitely be things I remember about it once I saw it, but there's nothing that I specifically remembered about Jackass 3.5. So I was like, let's throw it on. Once again, it's about an hour and a half. So the point .5 films in the Jackass series are basically a few different films that came out after some of the big name movies like Jackass number 2, Jackass 3D, Jackass Forever. They even did a Bad Grandpa point .5. But basically, these point .5 films, they're not major films in the series. They're more so like straight to DVD type of movies that are basically deleted scenes, outtakes, and stuff like that, and just kind of behind the scenes directors footage, things of that nature. There are things I specifically remember about 2.5, but when it came down to 3.5, like, once again, I just was not 100% sure. So I threw it on, thought it made the most sense since I just saw 3. And this is kind of my thoughts on the movie. So overall, I would say very good movie, and I enjoyed it. I would say, I don't know if I would say it's better than 3, because I just saw online that some people think that 3.5 is actually better than 3. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I will say this movie, when I was talking about 3, I definitely had the thought that came to my mind at least once of like, I wish they cut this down a little bit. I think they could cut some of the stuff out and shorten the movie a little bit, even though it was an hour and a half. This movie's an hour and a half as well, but I did not have that same feeling about like they should cut some of this stuff out. Lots of good footage. It never really got boring, but man, some great stunts, some funny moments for sure. And once again, consistently entertaining, consistently funny, consistently interesting. And honestly, a lot of my thoughts about 3.5 are similar to 3 as far as like, I just cannot get over the camaraderie between all of these guys. Like, it's just such a brotherhood with all the guys, not only on the main cast who are doing the stunts, but even behind the scenes, like the director Jeff Tremaine, some of the videographers like Lance Bangs, and just some of the other guys behind the camera. It's just it's so genuine. There's so much love, there's so much joy, and it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of animosity or tension or resentment, things like that. It just seems like everyone's equal and just having a fucking fantastic time. It's as the years went on and as things changed, as Dunn passed away and Bam started going off the deep end and everything, it just seemed like money started becoming a point of contention, and just various things. Like, I was watching the Jackass podcast recently, and Preston Lacey didn't get invited to the Shark Week thing they did after Jackass Forever, and he was hurt by that. Just various things that were happening. And I'm not going to sit here and say everything was absolutely perfect during those times back in the original OG days, but it just seemed different. It really did. They were younger and probably less in tune with their feelings and emotions, and didn't even think about all that stuff yet. As time went on, some of these things started to arise. But this movie came out in 2011, This was the year after Jackass 3D came out. And shockingly, I looked to see the exact release date. It said June 14th, 2011. And I was just like, wow, like that was, I think, literally right before Ryan Dunn passed away. And I looked, and sure enough, Ryan Dunn passed away on June 20th. So 6 days basically after this movie was released, he passed away. And it's just crazy. Like, not only that it happened, but it happened that quickly after 3.5 came out. I didn't remember that. I didn't remember how closely those two events happened. So, yeah, man, 3.5. When it comes down to the main films in this series, and even if you include the 0.5 films, this was I say 3 is the last great Jackass movie. And I still agree with that. But if you want to include the 0.5s, then I would include 3.5 in that as well. And then I think after, once again, Ryan Dunn passed away and the CKY guys were not involved in Jackass anymore, and they started recruiting these new members, and Johnny and Jeff really started taking the reins of things. It just started unfortunately going downhill. It just wasn't the same, especially once they got to this newest movie, Jackass Best and Last. I just think it's crazy, like with these 0.5 films, they had so much footage. Like, it was just insane. And that's the reason why they made these 0.5 movies, because of the amount of footage and the amount of good footage they had. And just to compare it to Jackass Best and Last, which was like a lot of reused old footage that we've already seen, it just seemed like on that newest Jackass, they were struggling to create new content and to just include content we haven't seen before. Really just, I don't want to say scraping the bottom of the barrel, because there were definitely, there were some, interesting and, little humorous bits in that movie or whatever, but it just does not compare. I can't explain it. Like, I think with these, the original guys, including the CKY guys, there's just a magic in a bottle. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. And I was thinking, like, man, when the CKY guys, mainly Bam and Dunn, when they were not featured basically in the newest movies, it kind of reminds me of just like if Led Zeppelin were to keep going on with Robert Plant, but Jimmy Page is not involved. It just isn't the same, right? I'm a big Guns N' Roses fan, and without Slash, it's not the same. Obviously, it's just not the same. So that's the best way I can describe it. Love the CKY guys. And one thing I mentioned in my Jackass 3D review is how much Brandon Novak was involved in that movie. And once again, he was involved in numerous bits in 3.5, and I just didn't remember him being that involved. And man, he really put himself out there, and he got really hurt a few times. And I got to give props to Brandon Novak. I'm not super like in tune with Brandon Novak. Like growing up, I think he was more involved in like the later years when it came down to like Viva La Bam and stuff like that. And I just was never like a huge fan of him, especially with his drug issues and stuff like that. But man, I gotta say, like after watching 3 and 3.5, I have much more respect for him. He is now clean and sober, by the way. He's been for years, and he's a completely different guy than what he was back then. But yeah, gotta give major props to Brandon Novak for his efforts in the film. And once again, it's just interesting. You can see how much of an influence Bam had on these old movies. Like, he may have not been a director, he may have not been on the same level of importance, if you want to say that, as Johnny Knoxville in like money wise or whatever you want to call it. But he had such a major influence on these old films, and it just made such a difference. Like, it was very funny, and they were very creative, and their deliveries were great. Love those CKY guys. And man, what else here? What else do I want to jump into when it comes to Jackass 3.5? Some very memorable bits. I mean, it's just interesting kind of reviewing movies like this, because Jackass movies are so different than a typical movie. It's really just kind of a compilation, a montage of different stunts, different reactions, and pranks, and yeah, it's just various bits. Best way I can describe it. It's just one after the next, and man, when it comes to these Jackass guys, I always thought, like, man, I just thought they were so cool and they were such daredevils. And yeah, it is slapstick comedy and stuff. I know some people don't like that, but I definitely think some of the stuff is very funny. And I just loved how edgy everything was, for sure. Like, I remember watching that show Impractical Jokers, like, at times, and I was like, I don't know, it just seemed so corny and goofy to me. It seemed like the most PC version of Jackass you've ever seen. There's just such an edge to the Jackass guys, and once again, with these old movies, everything was just so genuine. Like, yeah, I understand, like, their reactions might be overblown at times, and they're trying to ham it up for the cameras, but I don't know, like, even if they were doing that at times, sometimes I would find it funny. Like, I don't know, like, thinking about Steve-O screaming and cussing, like, on the very beginning of the movie when he's getting his butt bit by, like a snapping turtle or whatever. Like, that was very funny. And, yeah, I mean, when it came down to this movie, once again, once I started to watch it, I started, all these memories started flooding in the back of my head, flooding in of like, oh yeah, I remember this, I remember that. And like some of the stuff I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that was 3.5. I thought that might have been like 2.5 or something like that. But, man, just to go back to the CKY guys for a second, one thing that is so prevalent with these Jackass movies, but I would say especially 3.5, Bam Margera and Ryan Dunn's such close friendship, man. You want to talk about brothers. I mean, all these guys were brothers, but man, Bam and Dunn were like so freaking close. You could just see it. They were such brothers. It was just awesome to watch, and it's just heartbreaking. Just, what ended up happening soon after this movie was released, and in the ensuing years with Bam and everything. But love their friendship, and their relationship shows so well on this movie. Especially, I think about the they're doing these confessionals at times where like Bam and Dunn were sitting on these like wooden stools, and like in the middle of the confessional, Bam's stool starts like it's just like a piece of shit, and he falls back, and it just, as time goes on, gets flimsier and flimsier, and it eventually just completely breaks, and they're just both dying laughing. And it's just like, man, it was very funny, and it's such a classic Jackass moment that I see show up on my timeline sometimes, of that chair breaking and Bam and Dunn dying laughing about it. So that was one of the, that might be the most memorable moment out of Jackass 3.5. But some other ones I wanted to mention, of course, Johnny Knoxville with his mini cannons, putting them behind people and shooting people. That was funny. I definitely, you think about the bulls. I didn't realize that Wee Man went in the ring with a bull. And I want to talk about Wee Man for a second. I feel so bad because, like, I saw a video recently where Wee Man was talking about Jackass Best in Last and saying how the new cast members basically didn't step up to the plate. They just never really got it. And I remember commenting on that video, and I was like, although I can understand what he's saying and I agree, I don't think Wee Man stepped up to the plate a lot either. I said something to that effect, and honestly, I feel bad about writing that because after watching 3 and 3.5, I'm like, Wee Man really did have some pretty good stunts. He really did put a great effort out there, and I can't talk shit about Wee Man. And it's not just Wee Man, but like all the guys for the most part, I think really just step up to the plate. I remember watching Steve-O talk about Jackass number 2, and he was saying, we were ready to die. And I get those same vibes from Jackass 3 and 3.5 as well. And they just were just crazy. Preston Lacey, once again, he went out there and did an awesome job. Got hit in the face, got hit in the head multiple times. And the only member I would say that, like, I think maybe could have done more in this era of Jackass was Chris Pontius. He did do some things that were where he obviously got hurt and stuff like that, but he didn't never do anything crazy. There was just a lot of Chris Pontius penis bits, which, like, I don't know. I don't find them like that funny, especially in 3.5. Like, there was a lot about Pontius's penis, and they had the woodpecker woodpecker bit and stuff like that. But I mean, I just think I think he could have stepped up to the plate. Out of all the cast members, he probably could have stepped up to the plate more and done more. But he definitely did have his moments, of course. Jeff Tremaine, it's just cool to kind of listen to the behind the scenes stuff. They talked about having Irving Zisman, the Johnny Knoxville character, and going out and getting reactions for that. But they also talked about Spike Jonze and his old woman character, and the heavyset old woman character, and how they really went out there and tried to get footage and content for that, but they really kind of struck out, which I just thought that was kind of interesting. They put that in 3.5 because, like, most of the content is either funny or just shocking or just, like, amazing or cool. And the Spike Jonze stuff where he was the woman, it was more so just about how they kind of struck out with that. So I just found that interesting. It was just a little bit different than, like, the rest of the movie. Bam was funny, peeing on people. But I want to talk about this one particular scene in this movie, which I thought was very interesting, which once again was another one that I remembered once I saw it. But it was basically the topic of conversation basically at this point in the movie was how tensions can get high on the set. And it was basically showing Bam and Aaron literally fighting physically. And it seemed like afterward, it was like they were okay and it was almost like in good fun. But I don't know, man. Like, when they were actually fighting, it was a little like, whoa, you know what I mean? They had to be broken up, and it just seemed a little... I talk about they don't have a lot of animosity or tension or anything, but this was one of those moments where they definitely did seem like there was some stuff. Like, there's just constant fucking with each other on the set during filming, and Aaron was trying to get Bam, and Bam, basically sniffed it out, and he wasn't going to have it. And this is one of those moments where it actually... did seem like there was some tension and animosity. But I don't know, at the end, Bam was kind of just gave him like a fist bump, like it's all good. But that was a weird moment. That kind of was just like, I don't know, just a little shocking, a little like, you feel a little uncomfortable watching it. Like, that seemed real. But once again, these guys are brothers. So it's just like, I don't know, brothers fight. So maybe that's all it was in the moment. One thing I forgot to mention about my Jackass 3 watch was that was Steve-O's first movie sober, I believe. So once again, 3.5, Steve-O sober. It's interesting to see him sober and young. Let's see here. Dave England, one of the memorable moments in 3 and also 3.5 was his... he did this jumping leg kick. Like, both of his legs would just, like, basically fly in the air and kick Bam in the face, and they had the Phantom camera on that. And I don't know, it's just fascinating to watch that, especially with the Phantom camera. Like, it was just, how the fuck did he get that high and jump that well and that perfect to make that happen? I'm just like, that must be so hard to do. But to talk about the Phantom camera, I kind of mentioned this in my 3 review, just about the Phantom camera. Just cool for them to go more in depth about it and kind of behind the scenes about the Phantom camera in this one. And when it came down to the footage, one thing I noticed in 3.5 is they had some footage that was actually shown in the credits for 3, but some of it maybe in 3.5 was a more extended cut of that said footage. But it was still interesting regardless. It didn't feel like it was being rehashed, kind of like, well, not kind of, definitely how 5 felt. 5 felt it was a lot of rehashing of, like, major footage. it seemed like in 3.5 they were at least showing like extended cuts of some of the stuff that you might have seen in the credits of 3. So it was still pretty fresh. I kind of like the simplicity of the movie. It's not like, once again, it's not one of the big major films in the series that was like in theaters, so it's like, I don't know, there's just a simplicity about it. They didn't have like a major elaborate like intro, stuff like that, like they did, or outro like they did the other movies. Like they still had a cool like creative intro, but it just, you know, it's just more simplistic, and I like that. I think it worked out well. And that's pretty much it for 3.5, man. Good, you know, very good movie. I enjoyed it. Glad I got to see it. Once again, I saw it on Paramount Plus. If you want to see any of the Jackass stuff, they have it all on Paramount Plus right now. Even like the TV series, I'm pretty sure they have that out there too now. But yeah, let me know what you all thought of Jackass 3.5. Do you think it's better than 3? What did you think of some of the particular bits? What do you think of the cast members? What do you think of this review? I would greatly appreciate it. Please give me your thoughts in the comments below. Please hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And I think I might have some more movie reviews on the way. Well, I definitely do, actually. So I actually have another one recorded a few weeks ago that I still need to get out. But that's pretty much it. Hope you all enjoyed. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.